Hello, everybody. How you doing, yo? This is Ezekiel from Kuhoga Insights. Once again, I'm back in this podcasting room, which has been granted or offered by Talent Hub. Yeah, so most of what you see here belongs to this university, and Talent Hub has been my gateway to reach to this place. So shout out to Talent Hub, and I wish we continue this wonderful collaboration for the benefit of internationals. Yes, and so today, after 9 long months, I'm finally back again to this room, and I'm excited to have Patrick with me for the very first time to do this podcast in year 2025. Yeah, and Patrick is having a lot to share with us. I'm delighted, to have Patrick on this session. Let's get to hear what he has in store. So let's begin by getting to know you. How can we know you?
Well, it's great to be here with you again, Ezekiel. We were here when you were running the media activities for the event with Talent Hub earlier this year, and
Yes.
it was really successful. So I'm British. I live in Kuopio. I work for a Norwegian-British advisory company called Fjord Qudra, but I'm also a mentor at the Kipina program at Hub Panostamo, so I mentor startups there. And I also sit on the board of some drone companies as well. And I'm a speaker with the Singularity Group. So I'm often talking in Brazil or UAE or California around how leadership can start using AI more effectively.
I see. And of course, we have reached an age where AI is kind of taking over, and I see some people are getting scared, some people are kind of celebrating. We are torn in between. So what is your take on this? Some people are being scared, like, okay, now AI can do secretarial jobs, replacing maybe tens of people in an office. What's your take on this?
My take,
be scared.
Yeah, my take is that it amplifies people. So, for example, a cafe or a pop-up in Kuopio Town Square or in the marketplace, they now have the same analytics media capabilities as Starbucks, the whole chain.
Yeah.
Through the phone or, through using the voice or through using the various tools, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, whatever. That kind of capability now has been democratized down to everyone, often on a free plan. Same for the city of Kuopio. The city of Kuopio now has the same media capabilities as the city of London. And the same for you, for example, as an entrepreneur, as a media entrepreneur, you now have tremendous media capabilities, and they are evolving constantly all the time. And then if you think about, say, an organization, an SME with maybe 100 or 200 people, they have a budget for all of those people. But now what they have is the capability for actually 400 people's worth of capacity or capability. For me, it's not about cutting jobs. It's about how do you do more and how do you do new things with the same people, the same teams, organizations, and what extra can you do?
I love that perspective. Because even myself as a beginner content creator, I have seen now with the tasks that maybe are demanded about 30 minutes or so, now I can do it in under 5 minutes. Yeah, creating the marketing text, the designs, graphic design. Yeah, so the life has become very simple. And this doesn't mean that before I started using this AI, I could have given a job to someone else. I didn't have that ability to give it to somebody, but now I can execute more. So I really love your perspective. Well, we will get back.
Can I just say, and many new things as well. So, for example, with these new tools like the Nano Banana and the VO3, I'm just talking about Google, but there are other tools. You can create these videos. You can integrate. You can combine images and then turn them into videos, and you can do that yourself for your clients. And you, for example, are one of the best examples of someone who's actually promoting Kuopio. I'm going to say this to the camera. This guy promotes Kuopio, Pohjois-Savo, and Finland more than any other international person I know. So you really need to use.
Thank you so much.
Fuck him.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate for this one. I really appreciate for this one. Well, we will get back to this sometime later. Yeah, but now I would like to get your overview as somebody international. How long have you been?
I've been here. I've been in Finland a long time, maybe 20 years, over 20 years.
20 years.
But I've always had like international roles. So I've been in Finland, but then like traveling a lot. But in my last 5 years, I was leading a big team of about 50 people in Espoo, and we were building R&D funding consortia. And in my team, I had 14 nationalities.
Fantastic.
Including Tanzanian colleagues.
Fantastic.
Actually, Edward Mutafunga, he's one of the best electronics engineer
This is good
from
to hear.
Tanzania I've ever met in my life. He's a genius.
I'm going to make sure I reach him.
You need to reach
regard.
out to him. But the point here is that we had a company with about 120 people, and over half were international. And in total, we probably had 19, 20 nationalities. Most of them concentrated in Espoo, but people working from different locations. So, you know, there are interesting examples in Finland of where you do get a lot of these international people working together with, you know, Finns.
This is amazing.
And many of them had like, you know, PhDs and things like that, engineers and whatever.
And that makes you the perfect guy for this podcast, because now you have been sitting on different angles, so your perspective really matters, I believe, in this discussion that we are going to have. So I would love first to know your take, your opinion. I've been reading the reports recently for the past 1 month or so. Different news channels have been publishing that, you know, Finland now has hit the highest unemployment rate, and actually not probably, is the second highest in the European region, preceded by Spain. So I would like to hear from you. What do you think when you hear of this news?
For me, it's kind of like you hear these news stories, and then you hear stories like Finland is not investing enough in R&D, for example, or innovation, whatever innovation means. It means many different things. But from my perspective, we now have these kind of capabilities and tools that allows more people to actually contribute a lot more. So, and the price of starting a new business and starting a new company, or you know, if you make an investment in people coming into your organization, they can do 10 times more than one person could do in 2020. So I think that companies need to start thinking about, you know, if you take a chance on some of these people who are unemployed, you give them access to the capabilities, the AI tools we have now. They will give you a lot more value than just that investment in one person, because you are amplifying their capabilities. You're giving them 3 times the capability, basically. So I'm a firm believer that one of these problems, the unemployment problem, can also contribute to accelerating the R&D and the innovation problem.
I see.
And also, just to say, some of those people unemployed might be international people.
I believe a lot are, yeah.
And one of the things that international people have, of course, is they have an understanding of what is happening in other countries in terms of innovation, in terms of research, or R&D, or, you know, new ideas, new ways of doing things. Bringing that kind of capability inside is very important, because you get fresh ideas, you get, you know, different perspectives on things as well.
I see. But now the question comes is that this issue of unemployment has been very loud, especially for the past, say, 3 years, with now being extreme. In the previous government, there was not a lot of complaints. At least I did not hear any complaints.
Okay.
So do you think this has been persistently maybe increasing over time, maybe since the past maybe 10, 20 years back, or something wrong happened somewhere in the past 3-4 years?
Which industries are you talking about?
I'm talking about the situation in general. For example, now we've been hearing economic situation is bad. That's why people are not getting employed. But the economy started to, to be bad after the new government took over and made some changes in the plans, saying we're not giving funds anymore, we cut here, we cut there, and people are getting fired. So my question was that, do you think maybe Finland has not been investing in this R&D maybe for quite some time, or maybe somebody say, okay, guys, cut the fund in this area?
Yeah, I think as a foreigner, it's kind of difficult to comment on this sometimes because I have fairly strong opinions about funding, because I honestly believe that the more you fund R&D, or you put the money in the right places and you bring together the SMEs, the university research, the corporates, startups together in clusters, in regions, especially, not just inside Kuopio, but outside across all of the important areas all over Finland. I think that can trigger a lot more growth. And but the other thing is that within your budget, if you have a funding budget now, you can do so much more within that, because the AI capabilities amplify. It allows you and teams and colleagues to do so much more. You can accelerate research, you can accelerate commercialization.
Correct.
You can accelerate sales activities. So that budget that you are looking at for R&D, or for in a company's budget, it's not the same baseline as it was even 2 years ago.
I see.
So that, people need to also start thinking about, well, what more can I do within this budget?
Yes.
And how, if I helped, say, if there's an unemployment problem in a certain town or a certain region, what would be the impact if I could find another 250,000 euros? Because I've now got all of these AI capabilities. What could those people?
I see. I get the point. Well, so I have another question here. Now we have a high input of internationals, and you have also mentioned coming from different countries.
In Pohjois-Savo or Finland?
In Finland, in general, we can say, but also Pohjois and Savo as well. So these internationals come with high potential, I can say, in many areas. And not just saying, I one time took an initiative and I started asking every random guy I meet on the road who is a foreigner.
Yeah.
Maybe he's doing work, delivering food, or doing some cleaning. So what do you do? What is your talent? Education. They will say, I'm a master's degree.
Yeah.
I'm a civil engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in my home country. So I would say over maybe 8 out of 10 of the people I asked, they had very high education. They had been in very big offices back in their home country. Some have been business managers, some have been administrators, some have been sales managers. But when they came to Finland, nothing happened. So why do you think we have this? I know the obvious reasons are being mentioned, like, okay, we have the language, you have to speak the language. Yeah, but still we know that these guys are foreigners. They come from countries which don't speak Finnish, and they were invited. Like, guys, come to Finland, we have, these opportunities. We need top experts to come and help us this, but when they come, they don't find the matching opportunities. Why do you think we have this situation?
I don't know why we have it, but I think there are things we can do about it. And I think, for example, the Talent Hub, and there are probably other hubs around the country that can improve that. But the other thing is international people in this country can now set up international businesses with these capabilities we have. So they can actually, with a very small amount of support or capital or access to some interesting tools, they can actually start building businesses and services that they're selling back either to their home country. So if, regions or people are not interested in using their skills, then they can still live here and they can start actually generating value in international markets for people who are prepared to pay for that. So that's one thing. The other thing, though, is I think also the more events that we run, the more things like your podcast to raise this awareness, but also not just a general trend, but also highlighting the fact that, hey, 8 out of 10 of these people, they've got, masters, they've got PhDs. They are fantastically educated, not just educated, but they probably also have business experience as well.
Yes.
From where they come from. And they also have international perspectives and networks. Hey, how much value is that to a small SME or to a university research institution or to a corporate, or to a cluster or to Business Finland. I mean, I think we really need to start looking at not just the individual value of each of these people, but the collective value of all of that intellectual capital in Finland, in the different regions, but not just on the research side, also on the entrepreneurial side. Often you have people who are coming in and they have a lot of good ideas about how to spin up a new business.
I see.
That kind of education would be useful to certain Finnish organizations.
That is true.
Yeah.
And now you have mentioned SME, and maybe let me speak more on the small businesses.
Yeah.
I did also some sort of a very rough survey in the city of Mikkeli, and I was asking the common type of businesses, and the answer I received is that the majority businesses in Finland, they are family-based businesses, and I think maybe most they fall under this category of private trader, something like that. Where you have the guy is the business, and his family members, they contribute to that business. And so what was stated is that because it's a family business, most of these people, they don't want to open it up to other people. So they don't want to hire someone, maybe even it could be a fellow Finn, but as long as he's not from the family, they just don't want to work with him.
Okay, yeah.
They want to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
So I know at the end of the day, the growth is limited because to grow, you need to hire more.
Yeah.
And something like that. But it showed as if that is one of the reasons most of internationals are not hired, because if these small businesses were open to get help from other people, probably they would have gone to the internationals, because a lot of internationals have done. But now they want to be locked up. That's why they, we have no opportunities here. What is your take on this one?
I think, there probably are traditional companies, traditional family companies who they just, that's the way they do things. But one of the other things that we can do now as international people, but also as younger Finns who are coming out of university looking for career opportunities, it's very easy now to analyze the, for example, when we were having the Talent Hub event that I was speaking at and you were videoing, what we did was we analyzed the number of SMEs in Pohjois-Savo. And we got that answer within like 2 minutes. And then we cross-referenced that with how many of those SMEs had received funding from Business Finland or from the EU to do R&D. And then we cross-referenced that with the research organizations in Savonia and in UEF. And we did all of that in like 5 minutes. So, and I used free accounts of ChatGPT and Gemini to do that. And then Google Notebook LM. So my point here is that it's very easy to also identify other opportunities in the marketplace say across SMEs. And SMEs, small and medium enterprises, they could be 10-person company or 250-person company. It's a big range. But using these tools, we can now search and analyze and see trends, which companies in which clusters, water cluster, health cluster, are investing in R&D, or who have ambitions to grow. Okay, so if you're a healthcare PhD international student or unemployed person who's come in with expertise in water technologies, you can run that kind of report in 5 minutes, and then you can start actually targeting those type of companies instead of not knowing where to kind of look.
Definitely.
So, I mean, these tools we have now are super powerful for doing this kind of thing. It's just using the imagination, really, and understanding what is possible.
Okay, and on this next question, you have already gave us a brief tip in the beginning, but I'd like to get your take again. Now, maybe we will get another perspective. In the past few months, I've also had some discussion with different officials, of course, mostly through the gatherings where we'll have somebody coming giving a speech and then I will ask a question. So the answer we get is that, okay, we have a lot of unemployment nowadays because the economy is doing really, really, really bad. So what I want to get you from you again is that, do you really believe that the economic situation contributes to the employment situation or unemployment situation to be worse, or is it just a ploy? Maybe before you answer, I will give you a perspective that personally, I believe that sometimes this is just like an excuse in this way. I believe employment should be the one to drive the economy, because the more people are employed, we have more taxes, we have more businesses running, we have more revenues. So even the GDP should come out of employment, which means I should expect either the government or whoever is responsible to drive employment intentionally with an aim of improving economy, not using economy as an excuse that, okay, the economy is doing bad, so we are not hiring. That means it's like you are intentionally creating the bad economy by reducing the production. Yeah, so that's my take. What do you think? Do you think this economic situation should contribute to unemployment, or unemployment should contribute to the bad economy?
Yeah, you should ask me about the UK, not about Finland.
Oh, yeah.
But I will
go on any perspective.
What I do is because I came through this whole Brexit thing, so
yes,
they took away my European passport. So, I have some very emotional perspectives on that.
I see.
But the way I think is I try to focus on what I can control. So if governments or regions are putting constraints and restrictions on it, then what I'll do is I'll try and figure out how I can help people within that. And one of the ways to do that is to use cheap technology to actually, so if they're restricting investment, then what you have to do is try and use that technology combined with people who have expertise to amplify things and to accelerate, and also to get out to some of those family companies and show them real examples of what you can do, for example, with combination of technology, your own entrepreneurial expertise. And so I try to find ways where we can actually solve tactical problems within these constraints, because who knows what is in the mind of a politician.
That is true. That is true.
And they change every 4 years or whatever. So that's a tough one.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Now, before we go to know a little bit more about you or your business, maybe I will have a last question here. Now, back again for the case of internationals, you already also gave a tip about this one, that one of the maybe more convenient solution at this moment would be maybe opening up businesses. Yeah, but we have a lot of internationals, I would say, kind of reluctant into opening a business. Some, maybe they don't have that entrepreneurial mindset or the motive.
Yeah.
But some are kind of scared because someone has told them, Finland is the hardest place. Of course, after coming to Finland. Before you come to Finland, Finland is always a heaven. Everybody's saying nicest things about Finland. But when you land in Finland, that's when you get bombarded with, Finland is the hardest place. You cannot survive in this place. This place is like a hell, something like that. So a lot of people now, they don't want to touch anything. And they believe, getting a job is very hard, but they believe it's easier getting a job than establishing a business in Finland. What would you tell to that category of people who have that belief?
I would say that you can also find other people who are more comfortable with starting a business, and then you bring your own expertise. But I think this is also where organizations like Halford, for example, or these other startup ecosystems that you get around Finland are very important, because what they're like center of gravity for entrepreneurs, both SMEs and startups, but also people who are coming in from university research. Maybe they're still a student, or maybe they're a professor, but they are also spinning up their own startup. They come together and in place. I've been a mentor in, for example, Turku as well, and done some in Kotka. And you also have a good combination of international people and local Finns as well. And you get a lot of creativity in these kind of like ecosystems. So that's why I think they're extremely important. places to kind of get inspiration, you know. And very often what you find is that someone will show you that actually it's not as difficult as you might think to actually start your own business or join in a partnership with some people who've already done that.
Yeah.
And because of the technology, the cost of the money you need is dropping.
Mm-hmm.
And what you can do with the technology is increasing anyway. So that whole cost curve thing is playing into the hands of entrepreneurs with a good idea. But I think these startup hubs and these clusters are really good places to focus. You know, Kuopio Health, then you've got the water cluster. So there are places where you can actually, if you've got that kind of expertise and international network, for example, from the country you come from, these are valuable resources that you can bring to the discussion.
I see. Fantastic. Okay, so now let's get to know more about you and perhaps the business you're working on. You mentioned that you're working with a company, Fjord
Qudra. So,
okay,
yeah,
Fjord Qudra.
The Fjord is the Norwegian, and then the Qudra is, in Arabic, it means strength and resilience.
Okay, I was having a hard time pronouncing it. Good. Okay. Yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about this company?
Yeah. So what we do is work with boards and leadership teams to help them understand what they can do within their own organizations with AI to increase capacity and to accelerate new discoveries and things like that. So we're not training people how to use ChatGPT or Claude or Google. We're coming at it much more from this is how we want to grow. And this is how we can accelerate growth. But also, we work with organizations that are looking to amplify the employees. So we don't like to work with teams that are looking to cut employees. We're not interested in that.
I see.
We're interested in amplifying the capabilities of the whole organization. And so, you know, we work in Norway, working in Scotland, working in the UK, do speeches all over the world and workshops. I was in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, for example, a couple of months ago, and we've been in UAE as well. And we work with a combination of SMEs and corporates.
I see.
So.
Okay, and so you also do some sort of a training or seminars, or you only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we run. It's more like trainings for example, board associations. So if you think about board members sit on many different companies often, and they don't necessarily understand the speed of AI in those companies and those industries. So we try and help them raise the awareness of the kind of questions they should be asking their leadership teams. And we use a lot of AI in our workshops.
Okay.
So it's not PowerPoints and things like that. It's very hands-on kind of.
So you have your own AI platform?
No, we use combinations of Google and Claude and ChatGPT and Grok and things like that. But actually, we're really heavily focused on Google, I would say. But we use whatever the client needs to use.
I see. Fantastic. And what is your role again on that company?
I would say it's more like in this company that I work for, my role is one of the managing partners. So we have my other colleague, Clint, he's in London. He's Norwegian, but he lives in London.
Okay.
And then we are small, but we work with lots of different partners to bring expertise. So for example, in Pohjois-Savo, I work with Anu Kuminen, who runs Figure Out.
Okay.
And her expertise is in leadership and HR and mindset and all of these kind of things. So when we need that kind of expertise, we work with Anu and her team. And the same in Norway. If we need to work with people with financial services or different types of expertise, then we'll work with them. And that's the power of the technology now. You don't need a big organization because you can just form all of these little partnerships with different players, different experts. And of course, we also have access to expertise.
I see.
In our pockets as well.
I see. Well, let's get back now to you as a person. Being in Finland for almost 20 years now. I don't know if it's almost or over 20.
Over
20 years. Okay, so I cannot really tell how convenient was it adapting to Finland 20 years back or now. I don't know which one is I would say the best time for adapting. It feels convenient.
I think I think it's kind of easier now because of the technology as well, but also it depends who you are, certainly where you are as well in the different regions. If you're coming in, because when I came to Finland, I already had a job.
Okay.
So I worked for IBM. So that was very secure. So I had kind of no worries really about when I came in. And then I just kind of developed from there. So it really depends on your situation.
I see.
I would say. And the same, I lived in Denmark before. So I moved from the UK to Denmark. But again, I just transferred within my own company to Denmark. So that's a very different situation. That's a much more comfortable situation than the situation, some of the situations you are talking about.
Yeah, because I asked you, because, we're in the situation where a lot of people are complaining now. Of course, that, it's hard to adapt to Finland. And I'm not saying they are lying. If you check it, the situation is really difficult. Yeah, but I wish to learn from guys like you, assuming like most of people who came 20 years back, perhaps it was maybe 3 times harder than today. So I wanted to hear your tip, like for any international person coming to Finland now. You have made many suggestions, a few of them including, looking for clusters to start business, with less cost, finding a way to join other people in the neighborhood, other businesses. But somehow it has been challenging for internationals to blend into the society here. So I wanted to hear if you have any tip for that. How can I blend in as an international talented individual?
Yeah, how good is your Suomi? How good is your Finnish? Because that's something that we all, I think.
Well, for me, I've been graded A2 now. I don't know.
A2 is pretty,
yeah. That's how they graded me. I don't know if I fit. I'm not confident yet.
Yeah, but you just keep going. I mean, I am not proud of the quality of my Finnish. I can understand it, but I'm not so good at say I wouldn't do a negotiation in Finnish, and I'm not proud of that. And I could do something about that.
Yeah.
In fact, I've actually created my own GPT now, where every morning I have a conversation with it in Finnish.
Okay.
And also, I don't know if you've seen the new Google Translate, where you can have the screen divided in 2. So I will be, say, speaking English, and you will be speaking whatever language you are, and it will automatically translate my language into your language, but you'll see that half of the screen.
I see.
So it's like a universal translator. So these kind of capabilities can only help us to accelerate our learning of Finnish language or any other language as well.
Yes. I see. Fantastic. Well, you had shared with me one image. Do you want to say anything about it?
We could do, actually. Yeah.
Let me see if I can get it.
Yeah, I think this was more, we talked about this actually at the Talent Hub event that you were managing. And that was more that, on the one hand, in terms of AI technology, we've got this ability to now do more and more of the scientific discovery and the management side around that, accelerating the time and cost of doing all of these experiments and finding new, drugs or whatever. And then on the other side, on the business side, we know that we can actually do things faster. We can analyze reports. We can, we can accelerate our media. We can do all these kind of interesting things. So we are seeing that both on the research side, but also on the business side, activities are collapsing in terms of time from months to weeks to hours. And that's a very, very interesting opportunity if you can understand how to use that. And also understand that the AI that we have today will be 10 times better in 1 year and probably the same cost. So I think this kind of mindset for international talents, but also for, Finns as well, it's important to understand that we're going to be able to get more out of our existing budgets, whether they're government budgets or whether they're budgets within a company, going forward.
I see.
That opens up the possibility
Okay.
for a lot of accelerated discovery and then commercialization. And then I think if you think about an entrepreneur in Finland, this is just going to increase the potential for starting an international business from Finland. Yeah.
Fantastic. How approachable and available are you in case any international member wants to come to seek some more insights?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I think am I part of this International Talents Hub? If I'm not, I will register. But I'm often at Hub Banastamo, for example, and people can just ping me, find me on LinkedIn. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. I had to ask this because, he had a lot to share, more than what he can speak in this session. Yeah, and I believe if you are courage, you have enough courage to, reach out to Patrick, you can learn a lot more. Yes. So any final statement, maybe a wrap up? You have already given a lot of tips in our conversation, maybe putting it in 1 or 2 statements.
Well, I would say, first of all, what you're doing is excellent because, you're raising awareness of this situation, but you're also demonstrating your own entrepreneurial ship as a business person yourself. I mean, I've been watching all of your videos. You were in Turku and Pori and probably somewhere international as well. But what you do is you're bringing people together, and you're bringing international people together with Finns as well. And I think that's gold. And what you also do, you have an international perspective. So you see what's going on far beyond these kind of borders, and that's very valuable as well. So I'm sure that, for example, in Tanzania and across Africa, there are some really interesting entrepreneurial activities that would be
very true,
very valuable here.
Very true.
Because now you have technologies that allow you to skip infrastructure, and
yes,
and you've got, is it a billion people in Africa? Probably. I think if you give them access to all of these AI capabilities, then it's going to be a very, very powerful region in terms of generation.
Yeah. Yes. I've been listening to one speaker, Daniel Pena or something like that. He's talking about the power of multiplication.
Yeah.
Yes. So I now I see is what also you're talking, with AI, you can multiply.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's Ezekiel to the power of AI. Mm-hmm. And that will continue to increase at an exponential rate. So, but my point is that you probably see things outside of Finland that would be very valuable services inside Finland, or inspirational to Finnish organizations or international talent within inside Finland. So, keep those kind of stories. That's very valuable. If you can also bring in stories of entrepreneurship, say in Africa or in Asia or South America, it doesn't matter, and be that kind of channel.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Well, thank you so much for accepting to come to join this podcast. I appreciate. I am looking forward to come back to you anytime soon.
I'll see you soon, sir.
Yeah.
And it's also good to be here at UEF again because, and of course, Savonia just up the road as well.
Yep. Well, I appreciate. Well, thank you so much for watching this podcast. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do subscribe, because I will have Patrick once again in this podcast and so much more. You should wait on and look forward to see them. Yeah, well, thank you, and I wish you a marvelous time. Bye-bye.
Bye.